All right, so I just got back from beating my meat and I realized something as I was beating it to Megna, and I got the realization that I've been beating my meat for over 10 years. Isn't that insane? 10 years. That is actually concerning. But anyways, why not tell a story about how I first beat my meat on my YouTube channel? What? I can't start the intro like that. Well, I'm leaving it in anyway. Okay, come on, dude. It's not that bad. It's not that bad. It's not that bad. Yo, what is going on, you guys? My name's Bubba, and welcome back to another insane story. So the other day, I was streaming live on Kick, and I realized that a lot of people were asking me, hey, when was the first time you beat your meat? So I decided to tell them the story, and they loved it. So I thought it'd be awesome to basically tell you guys the story. And this story all starts off back when I was 12 years old. Yes, the first time I beat it was 12 years old. I don't know when the typical age is to beat your meat, but for me, it was 12. So I don't know. Comment down below. Actually, no, don't comment down below. I don't want to know the first time you beat your meat or what age you are first time you did it, because that might be severely illegal. Comment down below your favorite fruit. What's wrong with me? But I don't get it. It's always at nighttime too. Like, I tell the most sus stories at night. I have serious problems. I really need to go to therapy. If anyone knows any good therapists. So like I said earlier, I was 12 years old, and I remember I never touched my eggplant in my life. I never thought about touching it. I never decided to do it because I was more obsessed with superheroes than, I guess, women at that age. But anyways, I remember I was in grade 6 at this time, and I didn't have a crush, nothing. It was before I actually even entered a middle school. And one day when I was at home playing Call of Duty Black Ops 2, I realized that I was absolutely bored. So what I decided to do was call my friend that we're gonna call Mike to basically go over to his place and hang out with him. Obviously, my parents let me because my parents barely knew where I was growing up. And basically, I ended up going over to my buddy Mike's house. Now, when I got to Mike's house, I remember me and him, we just ended up playing the same game, Call of Duty Black Ops 2, but we started doing zombies and playing co-op. Meaning, like, you know how like games like they split screen and like, you know, you can play like with 2 angles. I don't know, it was some old stuff that you guys probably don't do nowadays. I remember as me and him were playing, his parents ended up coming into the room and basically decided to give him a gift. Now, this gift was nothing unusual. It was very common for Mike to get cool things because his family was stinking rich. And basically, Mike's family decided to give him a massage chair. I don't know why his family decided to give him a massage chair. It made no sense to me, but basically, he got a full-blown massage chair. Are you trolling? Like, you're giving your kid a massage chair? And I remember I looked over at my friend Mike saying, hey, Mike, why did they give you a massage chair? Oh, like, you know, I play lacrosse and like my bones have been hurting a lot. So instead of going to like a masseuse, they just want me to like use this massage chair. Dude, we're 12. We're meant to play sports. We're meant to be in pain. Why are your parents giving you a massage chair? It makes no sense. But honestly, I will say this. I was jealous. And I was so jealous to the point where I remember I went home that day running up to my parents saying, Mom, Dad, I need a massage chair. My parents looked at me as if I was crazy. And to be honest, you guys are probably wondering, why am I talking about a massage chair? And trust me, it'll make sense later on in the story. But basically, I asked them if I could get a massage chair, and they both said no. They said no to me, and basically my parents told me there's no point of getting a massage chair because I don't play any sports, which they were right. The only sport I played was my Nintendo DS with my fingers. But hey, ladies, I got good fingers. Like, anyways, going on. Basically from there, I remember I was really just kind of annoyed for like the next 2 weeks. And then afterwards, my dad ended up coming up to me, realizing that I was really upset, and basically decided to tell me that he found a massage chair for me that he wanted to give me. Now at that point, I was super excited. I was like, a massage chair? That's awesome. Like, I was so excited until he showed me the massage chair. When I saw it, I was really disappointed because I was looking at it thinking, there is no way this is a massage chair. Basically, let me give you guys the detail. My friend Mike had a massage chair that basically actually like squeezed his body and like took care of his bones and actually took care of all his muscles in his body. As for my massage chair, well, the only thing it did was basically I would sit on it and it would vibrate. Yeah, that's all it did. It was just a giant vibrator. Like, Mom, Dad, I love you if you're watching this video, but come on. All it did was vibrate. Don't get me wrong. It had cool motions of vibrating. Like, it would vibrate up here, then down there, then down there. Like, it had different motions, but it was just a basic vibrating massage chair. I remember I was happy with it anyway, and I wasn't going to say no to my own parents. So I decided to basically put that massage chair in my room beside my gaming setup at the time, which was just a TV and an Xbox. And basically, I remember every day after school, I decided to basically go and sit on the massage chair. Now, like I said, I was 12 years old, and 12-year-olds do really weird things. But I remember one time I was sitting on my massage chair and I decided to try something new. Basically, this massage chair had this like extender for the legs. So basically you can like kind of lay out your legs, and I decided to basically lie down with my head hitting the seat. If you guys have no idea what I'm talking about, let me show you an example. This is the massage chair. I went like this on it. This is all I did. I don't know why. It makes no sense. But yeah, I did this. And when I did that, I remember the massage chair was still on and my eggplant was landing literally right on top of one of the, well, things that vibrated. And from there, my eggplant started to vibrate and one thing led to another. I ended up doing the devil's creep. Can I even say that on YouTube? I don't know, but you know what? We're gonna continue on anyway. Basically, when that happened, I realized that basically this giant vibrating chair made me have a sensational moment in my life. And from there, I guess that was the first time I ever ended up doing that. Don't get me wrong, I started doing it weeks on end until I realized that you can just use your left hand. Okay, so this story all takes off back in my grade 7 year. And when I was in grade 7, I won't lie to you, I had a crazy addiction. I had an addiction to beating my eggplant. And this got even worse and worse over, you know, the time of me going through that year. But basically, this story is about how I ended up getting an addiction to beating my meat. But obviously, before we talk about this story, make sure you guys do leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Seriously, it means a lot when you guys do. And on top of that, if you guys have not already, make sure you guys join me live on Twitch, streaming and telling crazy stories just like this one. Other than that, let's just jump straight into this embarrassing story. Yo, what is going on, you guys? My name's Bubba, and welcome back to a very embarrassing story. So this story all starts off back in my grade 7 year. Now, in grade 7, I won't lie to you. Around this time, I was hitting puberty at its full peak. Like, it was hitting me like a rock non-stop. And I remember I really wasn't good at, you know, handling the situation where I would get bricked up. Like, yes, I knew that, you know, I would get bricked, but to be honest, I never like actually just like got it when I didn't want to get it, if that makes any sense. But basically, I remember one time it was a Friday and I was in my math class, and basically our teacher was teaching us something with like, I don't know, with like squares and like shapes and stuff, and like, you know, basically like trigonometry. If you guys know what that is, then good for you. You guys are studying school, but I don't know. I totally forgot what it was, but I think it was trigonometry, and she was basically showing us how to calculate a triangle. And me, I remember out of nowhere, and I'm not joking when I say this, but basically I remember I was staring at the whiteboard, just looking at it, staring it down, and then I remember randomly, after looking at a triangle for so long, I ended up getting bricked. I don't know how. I was just looking at shapes. I was looking at a triangle, and I got bricked out of nowhere. Now at this point, I was actually concerned with myself. I'm thinking, yo, like, what is going on? Like, why did I get one? What am I attracted to? And I started looking around, and I realized that none of the girls in my classroom I was attracted to, and the whole time I was just focusing on school. So why in the world would I get bricked randomly? Now at this moment I was concerned, and I was actually kind of worried about myself, thinking, okay, something's wrong. I need to figure this out. Like, what is going on with me? So what I decided to do is basically raise my hands up and say, can I go to the bathroom, please? And I stood up and I ran to the bathroom. When I got to the bathroom, I remember I sat there kind of panicking, thinking, yo, like, what is going on with me? Why am I, you know, all of a sudden bricked up? And then I decided that, you know, maybe I should text my mom and say that I want to go see the family doctor. Now my mom at this time would always see the doctor like every week. I'm not gonna say why, because that's personal family stuff, but you know, she was well known with, you know, the doctors and stuff. So I remember basically I ended up basically going to the doctor with her literally the next day on a Saturday. And when I went with her, I remember I decided to go see my family doctor, and when I sat down with her, I sat down and told her, hey, I have a question. So I randomly got like bricked in the middle of class, but I wasn't looking at anything bad. It's just like, you know, I was just looking at shapes and it just happened. My doctor looks at me and ends up telling me that this was normal for a teenager. She ended up telling me, you're growing into a man and obviously you're hitting puberty. You'll realize that random moments in your life, you'll have certain arousal and you will just have to handle it. And don't be afraid to, you know, beat your meat because, well, it's in a way it's healthy for you and your body. I ended up looking at her very weirdly because obviously, you know, what kind of doctor tells you that you should beat your meat? Like, it doesn't make sense. But obviously when I actually put research into it, actually started to make sense. But I remember from there, I was really happy that, you know, this was a normal thing to happen to teenagers. So I remember that same day when I went home after seeing the doctor, I ended up going right to my bedroom and I did everything I could with this. Yeah, this was my best friend for that weekend. I have no idea how, but I managed to beat my meat like over like 40 times that weekend, which was very crazy and very scary. But I will say this much, back when I was a kid, I never like at that age like was allowed to watch the Devil's Hub. So I ended up using Grand Theft Auto 5's amazing unicorn place to basically arouse myself. So I guess you guys could imagine me basically staring at a monitor. Yeah, you know what? I don't want to talk about it, but you guys get what I mean. I remember from there, I would always like, you know, do that. And it got to a point where one time there was my mom that walked in, which you guys could go check out that video if you want to. But then I remember later on that Monday, it was school. And I went to school basically thinking that I handle myself. I ended up, you know, taking it all out of my system, which is not a thing, by the way. Anyways, I remember from there, I ended up basically going to all my classes and I didn't get bricked up at all. I thought I was in full control until social studies came up. Now, I remember I went to socials class, and basically we got handed our textbooks for socials, and basically one thing led to another. I ended up sitting down, going through the textbook to see what we were learning, and I ended up going through a page that had the Mona Lisa on it. Now, I think everyone knows what the Mona Lisa is. It's a really old, like, Leonardo da Vinci painting that's, like, super popular, and for some reason super expensive for absolutely no reason. Like, if the painting was a picture of a man, maybe it'd be more expensive. I have no idea. Like, I think a picture of Andrew Tate would go for more. Sorry. Okay, I'm getting out of hand. That sounded sexist. Sorry. Going on, though. Anyways, I remember basically from there, I ended up staring at this photo of Mona Lisa, and I was super weirded out to the point where I actually ended up getting bricked up. Now, I had no idea why I got bricked up. I ended up looking down at my pants, and I'm like, yo, what? Seriously? And from there, I really just wanted to handle it. But how was I going to handle it if I was at school? So I remember I ended up just standing up and actually just leaving the classroom. I didn't put my hand up, nothing. I just left the classroom, and my teacher ended up sending my friend to go and get me and see what's wrong. As I was walking down the hallway, freaking out, my friend ended up coming up to me saying, yo, bro, like, you good? Like, the teacher's wondering why you just left like that. I'm not gonna lie, bro. I have a situation. And from there, he ended up looking down and looking at my legs and what was between my legs, and he realized that I was bricked. If you guys are wondering how he knew, I was wearing sweatpants that day. Anyways, going on, I remember he ended up looking at me saying, yo, bro, just go to the bathroom and just handle it. Like, what the hell? I can't. What am I supposed to handle it to? The toilet seat? Do you not have like any like a phone that you could just like, you know, enjoy yourself to? I have a phone, but like I don't have access to like those websites. Okay, bro, you know what? Why don't you just use my phone, go to the bathroom, handle your business, and just come back to class? I ended up staring at him really weirdly because what kind of friend hands you a phone for you to use the Devil's Hub on? Like, it made no sense. But basically, I ended up taking his phone and I ended up going to the bathroom, and I ended up basically, I ended up watching the Devil's Hub. But to be honest, I have no idea like how to navigate that website back when I was in grade 7. So I ended up watching something with grannies in it, and yeah, let's just say I was in there for longer than 2 hours. But afterwards, when I finally ended up doing the Devil's Cream, I ended up getting up and finally going back to the classroom, and class was already over. My teacher basically gave me the assignments I missed, and I got in serious trouble. And by serious, I mean serious trouble by my parents that day. And to be honest, I ended up telling them I injured myself, but I just didn't say where. Okay, so today's story has got to be one of the most embarrassing things I've ever told. But I'm gonna be honest here, a lot of you guys for some reason enjoyed the video where I talked about beating my meat for the first time, but I bet you guys did not know that I also beated it at school. And it's super weird how this happened, so make sure you guys press that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and let's just jump straight into this. Yo, what is going on, you guys? My name's Bubba, and welcome back to a really embarrassing story. So this story all takes place back when I was in grade 6, and when I just first started to, you know, I guess beat my meat. I don't know why, but like beating your meat became like such a normalized thing in middle school, at least for me. And I don't know about girls, obviously for some reason they mature faster than guys, but I'm not gonna lie to you, the only way I knew how to handle my, you know, eggplant at the time, every time I got bricked, was to, you know, basically beat it. And I remember one time when I was in school, I was basically going to my locker. My locker was right beside my middle school crushes, by the way, which I talk a lot about her on the channel to the point where it's kind of creepy, but at the same time, I guess I kind of just dwell over middle school. Like, I'm literally like Greg Heffley, except an adult version that keeps talking about middle school. Wow, I never realized how much those books actually mean to me. Anyways, going on with the story, I remember basically I was walking up to my locker, and my middle school crush's locker was right beside mine. And when I went up to my locker, I remember I had to get ready for PE class, but I was always so nervous to go to my locker when my crush was there, because obviously that would mean that I have to interact with her, which is the main reason why I got the locker. So I decided to just say whatever and go up to my locker and start opening it. As I start opening it, I remember she looks over at me and says, what you up to? I'm just getting ready for class, you know, same old. What about you? Oh, you know, I'm just getting ready for class as well. What class do you got? Oh, I have PE. And as I'm about to reach into my locker for my gym bag, she automatically decides to basically touch me, move me aside, and grab my gym bag for me. She grabbed it and gave it to me saying, here's your gym bag. And at that moment, I was so nervous, and I got to the point where I kept staring at her eyes, and I got aroused, and then afterwards I ended up grabbing my bag and running away. I didn't even lock my locker. She ended up locking it for me, which was nice of her, but at the same time, I didn't really know what to do at that moment. I remember from there, I instantly ran to basically PE class, but before that, I had to go to the change room. And when I went to the change room, all the guys were there changing, but me, one thing I realized about myself was that I was bricked. And the only way I knew how to handle getting bricked at the time was, well, beating my eggplant. Yeah, kind of weird, but honestly, on this channel, let's be real here, I've told worse. I remember from there, I was super nervous to get changed in front of everyone because I knew everyone was gonna make fun of me getting bricked. So what I decided to do was go to the middle school showers that were in the change room and basically get changed in there. But obviously, before I got changed, since I was wearing sweatpants for PE, I decided to basically beat my meat in the shower at middle school. Yeah, I'm gonna say this right now. The middle school showers are literally cursed. And whoever actually uses the showers in middle school was probably a weirdo or your ugly gym teacher. But one thing for me, I'm not gonna lie to you, I was so like just bricked to the point where I knew if I wore my sweatpants and went to class, everyone was gonna notice that I was still bricked. So obviously I decided to, beat my meat, and then I ended up just putting on my gym clothes and went straight to PE. I went to PE class and obviously I wasn't bricked up anymore since I dealt with it. And on top of that, I hated PE class because I kept getting nailed in the head in dodgeball, because for some reason dodgeball is a unit. I don't know why. It's not like I'm gonna be dodging balls in real life, maybe bullets one day, but not balls. And then one thing led to another. I remember after PE class, I ended up going back towards the change rooms to get changed for my next class. As I was heading to the change rooms, I remember all the guys were there, but they weren't changing. They were all surrounding the middle school showers and looking at the ground saying, what is that white stuff on the ground? Wait, guys, come look at this. And I remember from there, everyone started to look at my devil's cream that was on the ground. I remember I was so nervous to go up there, and one of my friends actually came up to me, tapping me on the back saying, yo, Bubba, someone did the devil's cream in the middle school showers. Can you imagine? No, I can't imagine. That's so weird. Who would do that? That's like so disgusting. I had to pretend that it wasn't me because obviously I didn't want to get made fun of. So from there, I remember I ended up just basically not getting changed and ran straight for my locker. And honestly, who knows? Maybe like the middle school had like something they can like probe, my devil's cream, and then like basically like scan, and who knows, maybe that like devil's cream could have identified me. Like I was in serious risk, people. At least that's what I thought in middle school. So from there, what I decided to do was basically go straight to my locker. And when I got there, I remember I ended up basically seeing my middle school crush there. When I saw her there, she was getting ready for her next class, and for some reason we kept going to our lockers at the same time. But at the same time, that's what I got the locker for in the first place. And when I walked up to my locker, I remember she looked at me saying, oh, you didn't get changed? Nah, I like sweatpants. And then I remember she looks over at me and says, oh, like I recognize those sweatpants. My older brother has a pair, and ends up touching my sweatpants. She literally touched me near my eggplant area. I remember I was freaking out, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's cool. And I remember I ran straight for my next class. But before I went through that door, I realized that I was bricked once again. At this point, I didn't know what to do. There was only one way I knew how to handle it, and that was with Mother Nature herself and my left hand. So I remember I went straight to the bathrooms, and I went straight into a bathroom stall, and I decided to beat my meat once again. Obviously, I did my thing. I did the devil's cream for the second time at school, which is super weird, by the way. And I remember right as I walk out of the bathroom stall, instantly I see two boys vaping in there that were in grade 8, just looking at me thinking, bro, there's no way this guy actually just beated his meat in a stall in middle school. What a weirdo. And then he ended up basically laughing at me, and I ran out of the bathroom. And well, one thing led to another. I was known for beating my meat in school. Obviously this was super embarrassing, but I'm not gonna lie to you, there was an upside to the story, because I remember later on that year, I guess a lot of us started hitting puberty even more, and it got to the point where there was a chart on the bathroom stall wall that was basically how many times people have beaten their meat in the stall. That's super weird, and I shouldn't be saying that because it's kind of gross at the same time, but hey, I mean, I wasn't the only one. I don't know. Moral of the story is that try to control yourselves. It's probably better to control yourself than not. Anyways, guys, that is basically it for today's embarrassing story. Make sure you guys press that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Seriously, it means a lot when you guys do, and just follow for more embarrassing stories just like this one. Peace out, guys.
My name is Bubba. I'm still on top of the world. Never taken with your mother. Of course, let's go. Should I make it a story? Let's click record.